actually slides open and closed. So that's actually our wall and our door to the actual building. So the architects that designed this building really wanted to keep a sort of agricultural feel to it. So there's a lot of little barn sort of themes going on. So like a barn has like two really big doors, right? So that's like our big walls here. They work kind of like barn doors. The fountain in the front works like a trough where the animals go drink on a barn. Lots of that kind of stuff involved. We have a garden in the front to promote like local vegetables and herbs. The rocks that are on that wall right there, the ramp here, those are local rocks. So again, just promoting local. So we're gonna come up here and I'm gonna explain the sort of climate that allows us to have a long enough period to grow grapes to make wine with. So if you look over to your horizon over there, there's that big kind of elevation. The ground is higher there. That is the escarpment. And then to our left over here, you can't really see anything, but over in the distance is Lake Ontario. And Lake Ontario is really, really, really deep, so it doesn't freeze over the winter time. So all the hot air and temperature that gets sucked into the lake around harvest time, so around September when it starts getting colder, because the lake balances itself temperature-wise, so all the hot air goes back out into the air, and then it's gonna go over all the vineyards, so all the hot temperature flows over us, hits that elevation, and that works kind of like a really big wall. So all that hot air will bounce back over us. So it creates like a cycle. So there's like hot air flowing over us at all times. And then those wind turbines will actually bring that hot temperature down into the vines so that frost doesn't destroy our grapes. Because it starts getting really cold around September-ish, and then the frost will actually destroy our grapes, and we'd have nothing to make wine with. So that helps keep things warm enough that they don't freeze over and break. So that's what really allows us to grow grapes here. So that's why there's only a couple places in all of Canada you can actually grow, like make wine. So it's because you need like a specific conditions for climate.
What are those poles out there?
What?
Those poles, turbines.
Those are the wind turbines I was mentioning. So that brings the hot air down. Like around September, they're going to start working, and that's going to bring the hot air down. We actually used to use helicopters and stuff like that, but obviously that was really expensive. So we use those next. Oh, isn't that so much better? It's so much cooler every time. Oh my god. Alright.
It's really easy to the fermentation.
So for white wine, it's really straightforward. Because all you have is the juice, right? So to ferment it, all you gotta do is put the juice in like a tank like that, for instance, or one of these tanks. You're just gonna add the yeast to it, and then it's just gonna start fermenting. So sugar will turn into alcohol. You're gonna get CO2 and heat produced. And it's always different for the amount of time it takes, depending on what kind of grape you're using, how much sugar is in the grape, or what kind of machine. So I can't really give you like a time frame.
Right.
And then for the reds, it's on this side. So for the reds, as I said, you need that extraction, right? So what's gonna happen is we're gonna use one of these three tanks over here. The first one is called a roto fermenter. So it works like a concrete truck. It's gonna spin around. And so this way, because there's that CO2, the carbon dioxide that gets produced, so all the skins float to the top. And they just kind of create a cap. And it just kind of floats there. So you need them to mix up to get the extraction. So that every 4 hours is gonna rotate. It's not very delicate with the grapes though. It kind of beats the crap out of them. So it's mostly used for a really thick-skinned grape, like a Cab Franc, like you guys drank, or a Merlot or something. So something very high in tannins, very full-bodied red. Then the next one is a very delicate process, so completely the opposite. This is used mostly for like a Pinot Noir, which is like a grape with a super, super thin skin. So that's called an open top fermenter, because the top literally stays open. Pretty straightforward. So a guy is literally gonna stand up there with like a big rod and there's like a disc at the bottom, and he's gonna push the skins back into the juice to mix things up. And that's a lot more delicate. It's also why Pinot is so much more expensive. It's like $20 more than any other wine, because there's somebody that has to do the fermentation process. It's not just a machine. campaigns is a blend of certain grapes, but it's not named a grape. It's named Method Classic Brut, or like a Meritage wine is a blend of different grapes as well. But it's a Cab Franc, Cab Sauvignon, and Merlot. But so for like a wine that has a name, it's the name of the grape itself. So it's not like mixtures or anything. It's going to be one type. Yeah. Yeah, so like you like a white Zinfandel, so that's a Zinfandel grape. That's been turned into wine.
The reason why I like white Zinfandel is because it's a bit on the fruity side. It's not that dry.
Okay.
And it's more palatable. For me, I don't know about anybody else, but I do not like it dry.
Okay, so you like more like the warm climate wines, right? So this is a cool Malvern region, so the wines tend to be like drier, they're more acidic. But there's a couple that you should probably try them that are fruity and that are a little bit sweet that we have.
Not necessarily sweet, but fruity.
Yeah.
You know, like not dry and
Like crispy, like citrusy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so you might like a semi-dry Riesling or a Gewürztraminer or something that we might have.
Okay.
Yeah. So did you?
Question.
Yeah.
How do you extract the sugar to get the number for the sugar content that's in the wine?
So that's going to be tested as well at the end. So once it's all done, we're going to test the amount of sugar in your wine, like that little lab I was saying. There's like a little lab in the thing. So we're going to test the actual wine itself.
And then you start numbering it then?
Yeah, exactly. And there's like a way it's numbered. There's like the amount of sugar per amount of wine. Like I don't know the exact ratio, but it's done in bricks. It's called. So it's a totally different way of measuring sugar. That's like specific to wine. So like a 0 is dry, 1 is a little sweet, 2 is a little sweeter, ice wine's in the 23s. So that just means the amount of like certain amount of sugar per amount of liquid.
Okay.